Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the Planning Commission for the City of Martinsville Tuesday, September the 23rd, 2025 to order. First up on the evening is roll call.
Richard Baston. Here. Steve Bodie.
Here.
Jim Burkhardt.
Here.
Joe Disney.
Here.
Richard Durnall.
Here.
Caleb Forrester.
Here.
Richard Heacock. Ann Miller.
Present.
Jason Scott.
Here.
Troy Swan.
Here.
And myself, Marilyn Siderwitz.
Okay. First up is for presentation of minutes dated August 26, 2025. Has all the members had a chance to look at the meeting, the minutes from last month?
Yes.
Are there any corrections?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from August 26, 2025 as presented.
And Miller makes a motion.
I'd second that. Steve Bodie.
Steve Bodie.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Pass. Next up on the agenda is old business. Docket number PC 25017 is the final PUD final detail plans for address at Artesian Avenue. Owner is Habitat for Humanity of Morgan County.
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes.
I assisted Habitat on some planning for this development, so I'm going to abstain from voting or any discussion.
Okay, thank you. Steve Bodie will be abstaining.
Hello, my name is Brian Donato with T&H Investments. I guess I want to start by saying that I think I made a mistake when submitting this. There should really be two items on the agenda. One being the approval of the final plat, and the second one being the item that's on the agenda, which is the site detail plans. So I just kind of wanted to note that, and that way we don't leave the plat out there. So last time when
Mr. Chairman, let me address that at this time. So what we have on the agenda tonight is the final detailed plan. We do not have on the agenda a final plat. Okay? So I know last month or 2 months ago, we voted on a plat. I can't recall if that was the final plat or if that was a preliminary plat 2 meetings ago. But tonight, we're only going to address the final detailed plan because that's the only thing on the agenda, and that's the only thing that was tabled from the last meeting.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't realize that the plat had been voted on.
We took a vote on the plat last time that was
Okay.
approved. We tabled the plan.
Perfect.
Okay.
Then I didn't mess it up. So anyways, when we were here in July, we obviously reviewed the site plan, went through a good discussion about it, and out of that there were a number of comments that I hope we've addressed and can discuss today, and hopefully this is in pretty good shape tonight. So just running through those comments. So the first one was, I think there had been the initial plan that had come in sometime last year. There had been a playground on the site. That playground had been eliminated in our last submission, and we were asked to add that back in. So on what I just handed out, if you go on to the overall site plan, which is labeled at the bottom right, C200, this is a revised site plan. It's hard to see here, but the playground is the hatched area on the top side of the page between buildings 2 and buildings 4. There had previously been some grills there, so we used that as, it was a good space to fit the playground. And then there's some more details on that playground. There's actually a loose paper in the packet I handed out, which shows I'll call it a conceptual playground layout. It is a playground that we have done in the past. I'd say the final one will be similar to this, but it'll be subject to what's available from the manufacturers when we actually go to order it during construction. But this is a playground very similar to what we've used at other projects. So that was the first item. Second item on this that we had discussed was finalizing the daycare size. So there had been a lot of discussion about the size of the daycare, and we had talked kind of in detail about why it had gotten smaller. But at the time, I couldn't really give you concrete information about the number of children we'd be able to accommodate. So we went through a pretty long process with the fire marshal to sort of understand the new requirements that we were going to need to meet. And ultimately, as a result of that, we ended up with a bigger area, bigger building than was presented in the last submission. So we will be able to accommodate somewhere between 24 and 28 kids. The exact number will be tweaked slightly between now and when we have construction drawings, and it's just a matter of figuring out the exact room sizes. But it'll be at least 24 kids and could potentially be up to 28. That building will be designed to meet commercial standards, which was the requirement given to us, ultimately decided on with a lot of back and forth with the fire marshal, and that will go through a review process with the state once we're ready to submit the final building plans for that. The next item was there had been a request to add in a masonry wainscoting to the Artesian Avenue side of the building. So in the submission that I have, or that is in front of you, or starting on A6, which is towards the back of that, you'll see that we've added brick not only to the Artesian Avenue side, but also to the other sides of the building, just to make a consistent look all the way around them. So it's a wainscoting that goes up to about the height of the windows. I think it'll look nice and will fit well with the surrounding neighborhood. And then the last item that was brought up for discussion in the last meeting was the issue of snow removal and how the town handles the portion of road that would be dedicated. So I spoke to our engineer about this and kind of reviewed it with him, and his comment on it was that most of the snow is going to get pushed to the side of the road. The question about what happens at the end of the public right-of-way is a little difficult to address because of the fact that we don't know exactly how the city will want to handle it. So his thought was that the easiest way to address it would probably be to take an area of parking during the winter, that would be dedicated as a turnaround. So that would be like the 2 or 3 spots to the, if you're looking at the site plan, to the left of building 2, which would provide a place to turn around. Alternatively, there is place that we could build a dedicated turnoff, but I think that's something that, I guess what I would request on that is that that we're given an opportunity to work with DPW to figure out what the best solution is for them based on the size of their equipment and all that kind of thing. But I think it is an item that, you know, should be out there as a condition and something we should review with DPW to make sure that ultimately this is something that's easy for them to do when it snows and to make sure it's working in a way that doesn't you know, create a mound of snow on our driveway. So those were the 4 things that I had in my notes, and I guess I'd open it to questions, comments.
I wasn't at the July meeting, so I just have some preliminary questions. This artesian place, you know, the townhomes and the daycare, is it going to pay tax money to provide for the extra fire, police, and street department workers that we're going to need for the extra population?
Correct. It is not a tax exempt.
It is not tax exempt.
Currently, it probably is, but it won't be once the owner that owns, the single purpose entity that owns the property owns it. It's not tax exempt. There's no pilot in place, so it would pay taxes based on a standard assessment.
Okay, Councilman Coffey, what kind of taxes would those be? Would that be TIF taxes or would that be taxes to the city?
There's no TIF.
Is that in the TIF district?
It is in a TIF district because it's in the city, so our entire city boundaries is TIF, but it also we generating property taxes as well.
Mr. Coffey,
Yes.
I'd like to ask a question here. We talked about snow removal. Is this something that with this is a city responsibility to remove the snow?
No, I mean, to the extent that we're gonna have a public road, that would be the city's responsibility to remove snow. As I understand how they're approaching this, Hannah Drive to a point may be city street, but it's going to stop at the edge of where homes would be built, and then we'd be moving on to a private drive for the apartments. And so I do see that a concern, Mr. Strader. I don't think we can just leave it up to discussions in the future with the DPW. I think we're going to have some definites here, in my opinion, so that legally everybody knows what's expected. And when this plan gets approved, if it gets approved, those details are written down so that we know going forward what's going to happen.
Well, what you would have is if our men was in there removing the snow to a certain point, whatever point the snow will be placed, that kind of puts us liable for curbing anything that's on the property.
Right.
And this being private, we should not be in that location.
Don't disagree with you.
Is there a way for it to just be plowed privately, even though it's a public?
Sure. Yeah, if you guys want to volunteer to do snow removal for the city, I'm sure we would probably say go for it.
I mean, I think that's probably the easiest thing to do if there's the ability to do that, is adding an extra 100 feet of road when they're going to be coming in there anyways is.
But again, that would have to be a commitment that would run with the land, so you'd be binding yourselves and any future owners of this property to do that in the future.
Sure.
So it'd just be something, if if that's some condition that you would like to place, we certainly could entertain that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable with that, just from the perspective of from our perspective of, we're gonna have a plow coming in there anyway, so adding that extra distance of road is not an issue. I guess the one thing that I would want to make sure that we understand, or how do we clarify for the habitat homes that end up there that, look, they need to talk to us about snow removal if there's an issue, and
Go back to how you're going to do that through habitat, and maybe that's something that you address on transfer of land. And
okay,
but I think communication is going to have to be key with that.
okay.
Well, Mr. Coffey,
Yeah.
it's a PUD, right? So don't they have to present covenants to us? How long this is gonna happen?
I mean, again, we're at a stage right now where they're asking you for a final plan approval. So if there are things that you would like to see addressed as part of this final plan, this is the time to do that. Whether that be you want conditions placed on it, that you want them to agree to, as a condition to approving this final plan, we would like you to agree to this. This is the time to do it, okay? Question I
This is
do
about
have,
3 questions.
yeah, the question I've got, just looking at your playground, where that location is, am I looking at this correctly, if that playground's gonna be right next to a retention pond?
Yeah, it's at the top of the retention pond. It would,
Well, are you
the
gonna have
playground
fit-
would be fenced.
The playground's gonna be fenced?
Correct.
What kind of fence?
Typically, we would do like a 4-foot, like an aluminum fence, vertical pickets, that type of fence.
Who's gonna own the plot west, the empty plot west of here?
Currently, it's anticipated that T&H would own that.
You own that too? Okay. So what's your plans for that plot?
We don't currently have any plans for it. It would need to, whatever would eventually go on there would need to come back in front of this board for approval.
Do you know, okay, with adding these in, how many habitat houses will be in the city of Martinsville?
I don't know, Joe, if you can answer that?
I looked at the 59 homes that we've built so far. I think we have 38 in the city of Martinsville. in the
Okay,
city
and
limits.
then this would add another 6?
That's correct.
Okay, and then you said that your total is how many?
59.
59, okay. How many do you have in Mooresville?
2.
2?
Yes.
Okay, what about Monrovia?
None.
What about Eminence?
None.
What about Morgantown?
2.
Is there a reason that there seems to be a, way more houses being built in the city of Martinsville than any of these other, especially Mooresville? Why?
It's where the greatest need is.
I'm sorry?
It's where the greatest need is, according to the current population. Martinsville has population, household incomes at about 75% of what the county's average income is. In addition, Martinsville has a higher concentration of rental homes in the city.
Right.
What we're finding is that the jobs that are available in Martinsville and the lower tier of Morgan County have non-sustainable incomes for a large number of people in those critical jobs. They're being crushed by the housing cost in those rental properties, and that's where the greatest need is. We build where the greatest need is.
Okay, so where are the other, of the 59, where are the other houses that you built? Where are
Scattered
they
in the
at?
county.
Scattered, okay. But you only have 2 in Mooresville.
That's correct.
You don't think you have a need in Mooresville at all?
There is a need, but if you look at the property values and the cost of land in Mooresville, it's not sustainable for us to build. We're talking lot sizes of city lot sizes in the $60,000 to $70,000 per lot. We can't afford that to build.
When do you foresee that the property taxes from the daycare and the townhouses would start coming into the city?
So currently, the property is owned by Habitat. As soon as the sale happens and we close on our financing, which we're currently trying to close by the end of the year, it would go onto the tax roll. I don't know enough to know exactly when the bills are and things like that, but it would become no longer exempt after the sale. It'd be a nominal amount, obviously, until things are built.
Okay, thank you.
I guess this is the question that maybe Dale will have to answer. And I don't even know if we can do this or not, but is there a way in the conditions to put the Plunkett West that your company can't just turn around and sell it to help with money to build, and then, somebody comes in and wants a gas station there next. So I don't know if we can do that, if that's feasible. And my second one would be that there would be no Habitat homes built until the finish of the townhouse.
So, in regards to the first question, I don't believe you can do that because it would be a restraint against the free sale of real estate, which would not be able to do. I think it's important to note for the board that originally what you folks approved was a preliminary plan that had all 3 parcels with buildings on it, okay? And so we talked a little bit about this in July, that this plan has now changed from what your approval for the preliminary was. And now you're being asked to do a final, which would approve a plan with no buildings whatsoever on this 3rd parcel, right? So that's number 1 to note. I believe you could, Mr. Baston, put a provision that says, if we approve a plan, we are going to approve the order in which it will be developed. And so you are going to develop parcel 2 first and have it completed before you develop anything on parcel 1, okay? And as I look at this, it appears parcel 1 would be Habitat, parcel 2 would be the workforce development apartments. So you certainly could put a provision on it in that manner, all right? So that is before you to do. Not the restraint on who you can sell number 3 to, I do not believe you could do that.
I think, to be clear, Habitat, T&H would like to sell it at some point to the right buyer. We're going to be very sensitive about what goes in there, because whoever goes in there is going to likely drive, through there'll likely be access to our property. I think it's reasonable, and obviously, you would have to do this, but I think would automatically need to come in for approval, but I would definitely, be happy with the condition that whatever goes in there has to come in for approval. I mean, we're not interested in a gas station, we're not, I don't know what a potential use would be, but it would have to be something that fits really well being next to 34 townhomes and a daycare. I mean, that's a relatively small subset of things. And I think that needs to come to this board and needs to be vetted.
So, Mr. Coffey, with what you just said, if there was a motion to approve what Mr. Baston said, that would need to be in the motion.
That's correct.
Okay.
So you refer to, you refer to these as townhouses, and it's been a few months since you've been here, so refresh me a little bit. These are going to be privately owned,
Correct.
and so
Rentals.
there is, there's no HOA, or is there an HOA?
There's
So
no-
it's fee simple? Is that what you really want?
It's fee simple, correct.
Okay. And so with that being said, then the homeowner is responsible for all their maintenance?
No. There's, just to clarify, the 34 townhouses are owned by one entity, and that entity is responsible for all the maintenance, everything related to those. Separately from that, there's the 6 lots that Habitat is building.
No, I'm talking about the townhouses though. They're going to be privately owned?
Correct.
Okay.
And
But I mean, not individually.
Not individually owned, all owned by one entity.
So legal description, is that townhouses or is that apartments? I don't know.
I think a legal description is going to be just your, meets and bounds description or your lot such and such in this particular development, Mr. Burkhardt. And then, as I understand it, they're going to have a number of buildings located on the parcel. So it looks like there's 3 different buildings, as I see it on here, that make up the townhouses and the separate clubhouse / child care center.
Just to clarify, there's 5 total buildings,
Okay.
4 apartment buildings, and then the clubhouse daycare.
And do you plan on building these in phases or sections?
No, all at once.
All at once? So I guess I got a question. Mr. Where's he at? Breaker?
Yes, sir.
Are you good with all this?
So as of today, I saw the new plans and the discussions we had, I think we're good, yes.
Okay.
Just to clarify, we still have to go through a whole, the building permit process and have it reviewed by the state to confirm that everything meets the commercial code.
Sir, I think you said at the beginning, you're estimating the number of children at this point would be a total of 28 maximum, is that right?
Between 24 and 28, and that final number is just based off of the exact square footage, because each age group has a certain number of square footage you have to have in the room for each
So
kid.
what's the age of these children?
So we would be, it would be everything from infants to school age, with the exception being the preschool age. We don't anticipate doing the preschool age, just because that's something that is kind of already well taken care of through school pre-K programs and things like that.
initially you had, I think, on the preliminary plan that was approved, you had 50, I think, children, and that was all on this separate parcel with the daycare center on the separate parcel, correct?
That's correct.
How many types of these facilities you are currently on?
We own between, I don't know the number of facilities, it's about 2,000 apartments. I want to say 15 different properties.
Where are these properties located?
Primarily in Indiana, we have a few in Ohio, but most of them are in Indiana.
Like what cities in Indiana?
A good number of them are in Indianapolis. We have one that's under construction right now in Noblesville, a couple right outside of Indianapolis.
You don't know what town
I
outside?
don't know the specific town, so I could look it up for you.
Oh, okay, yeah. But mainly, what, 75% is Indianapolis?
I think that's probably a decent assessment.
Okay.
So if we left this moment and went to look at each one of those, would you be hesitant what we see? Or would you be, oh no, this is the way it's always gonna be, or would it be?
No, I wouldn't, I wouldn't be hesitant. I think I've been to 5 or 6 of them myself. I think they all looked great when I went to them. A number of those visits were unannounced.
That wasn't when they were first built, was it?
What's that?
That wasn't when they were first built, was it?
Yeah, none of them are that old. TNH has not been doing them for that long. We have, I think our oldest is probably 8 years old.
Okay.
But no, I think they all look really well. I think one of the benefits of the programs that we're using is that this is something that is continuously monitored and regulated by the state. So the state has a vested interest in, one, making sure that we're touching the people that we're supposed to touch, the households that meet the income qualifications and all of that stuff. But two, they have safety standards. They come and do inspections every year. It's a far different standard than just a straight market rate would have, where the only enforcer is your code enforcement officer, and we all know how incredibly difficult that process can be.
So does who's ever directing the maintenance, who's ever directing the facility that's in charge of the rental part of it,
Yeah.
that you put in charge, do they do regular inspections of the homes?
Yes. Yes.
What's their schedule on that?
Well, they'll be in there at least quarterly to change filters on the furnace and things like that. Sometimes more than that, just depending on exactly what the spec is of what we're doing. And then there's an annual, there would be at least an annual more detailed visit, but if there's concerns, we have the right as a landlord to give notice and go in, and if there's physical condition concerns, and to go in and review them and address them. The biggest need to be in there is to maintain the HVAC equipment. You have to change the filters, otherwise the equipment breaks pretty quickly, and that's very expensive to replace. But that's an opportunity for our maintenance people to, see what's going on, make sure there's no big issues.
So the preliminary plan, we approved how many buildings, Mr. Coffey? 7?
6, I believe, because you've got 5 on this one. I think that there were the 6, I think there were 6, Mr. Burkhardt, on the
Okay.
preliminary plan.
And when you came back with this particular thing, if I remember correctly, it was downsized because of financing issues, or
Primarily.
right?
Really.
So has that all been taken care of, or?
Yeah, so we have a large funding from the state. We now have commitments. So the way it works is we get tax credits that we have to sell to somebody, a bank usually. So we now have commitments for all those. We know, we know the price we're gonna sell them for. I actually just got an updated construction cost from so we do our own construction, from our construction team today, that was within $50,000 of the budget we've been carrying. So I think that's a good sign that we'll be able to move this forward and get it closed in December.
Do we have any other questions?
I'd like to know if the city's got all the stuff they need. Did you get everything you needed for this
Yes,
project?
we do that.
Okay.
Was there going to be a separate play area for the daycare, or?
So we have, there is an area, I think it's shown. If you look at the site plan C202, you'll see there's an outline for a fenced area to the right of building 5. So that would be the play area for the daycare. It's not, at this point, it's unplanned exactly what goes in there.
So that was going to be my question is, before this here was brought up, the distance from leaving the daycare is quite a distance over to the west side where the retention pond is that you're saying will be fenced in, is that correct?
The playground would be fenced in.
Yeah, but that's quite a walking distance. So is these children going to be monitored walking to that location?
If the daycare decided that would be up to the daycare to handle, but yes, about 100% certain that our provider wouldn't allow kids to just walk.
Well, but my question is, it's no place for a child when you have a very large retention pond that's several feet deep in the rear of that playground.
Just to be clear, the retention pond is a dry pond, so it will have water in it from time to time, but in general, it should be dry.
What I received today was it was a wet pond. A wet pond has a ledge in it that you come down off the edge of it 10 feet. And that's what is on the documents that I received today.
Yeah, these plans say wet pond on them.
Okay.
Non-slow conditions there, not highly dry.
Sure. That was not my understanding, but.
Any more questions for Mr. Donato? I'd like to have some conversation just between the members before I call for a motion on this.
I say this is not in the best interest of safety or the city of Martinsville.
Mr. Scott?
exception of, or the concern of the playground, I don't really have any issues with it outside of that, as long as that's fenced in, so.
Mr. Baston?
The only problem I have is that, you know, unfortunately, we get the map right before the meeting. And we really don't have time to mull it over, look, come up with questions, because we didn't have this. That would be my concern.
Okay. I'm gonna look past you, Mr. Bodie, because you can't comment. Mr. Burkhardt?
Well, I have no doubt that Habitat will hold up their end of the bargain, okay? I think I have some reservations that this might be a little bit tough to get done. And I do like the option maybe of putting it into motion that that's done before the Habitat houses are done. But that's where I stand.
Mr. Manal?
Well, I apologize, I wasn't at the July meeting, but I appreciate my fellow commissioners bringing up the playground, the brick facade, and the daycare size, because those were all very appealing points to the preliminary plan.
Sure.
So I appreciate you coming back with addressing those issues. I've been pretty consistent in my stance that I feel that Martinsville does have a need for dedicated rental property. So I'm not opposed to this at all. I think the stipulation for the snow removal being handled privately, overall I'm in favor of the project.
Mr. Forrester?
Definitely a little bit, you know, I wish that, I'm glad we've got 24 kids out of the daycare. I know that's a need that we have. I think some proper precautions, the condition that Rick just brought up with snow removal. I think if we know, but I am in agreement that we did just get this, so I don't know that I've been able to look over it fully to ask all the questions or to comprehend everything.
Okay. Mrs. Satterwhist, do you have any comments? Well, I said yes. Mr. Swan, do you have?
I don't have anything else to add now.
I left the best for last, which is me. I think my key is, after seeing the preliminary that we seen back in, I think, February, and now they've taken that lot away, downsized the playground, or the daycare, which was originally on that, and just the conversation that I had in July over financing, I mean, that, I don't want to see a project started and stalled over financing. That's my major concern. And I'm glad that Mr. Baston brought up about can we delegate what phases this is built, because I think that if we move forward with this, I think that's something that needs to be in place in the motion. Mr. Coffey, would you like to add anything?
No, I mean, I think what I'm hearing tonight from, at least it sounds like the majority of the board, is that we still have some questions. We feel like that maybe we need to review these plans a little bit further in order to get our thoughts collected. It sounds like from the discussion tonight, I heard that the request that we have some commitments that we would want to put in writing if this is approved, to go with the approval. So those things probably need to be hammered down, put in writing, shared with the applicant as to what you're thinking. So again, just observing, it sounds like they may need to table this for another month in order to get your thoughts collected and maybe get those commitments, if indeed that's what you want to do, down in writing so that you know exactly what it is you want them to commit to. So that everyone's clear when we come back for a vote on this, what is to be expected.
How many times can this be tabled, sir?
Well, it's supposed to be, it's supposed to be heard within the 90 days of when it was first submitted. I haven't looked at the exact date, but again, the Plan Commission tabling it is not going to, the applicant tabling would be one thing, the Plan Commission for the need to have more information is a legitimate reason that can toll the time frame on your 90 days.
Okay. With that said, I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'd like to entertain a motion to table docket number PC 25017.
And Miller has a motion on the floor to table.
I'll second it.
I think Mr. Burkhardt was the louder voice, so. we'll
Okay,
say-
good deal.
we'll say-
I don't have much of a voice, sorry.
Mr. Burkhardt seconded the motion. All those in favor?
Yes. One question.
Yes, Troy.
As far as the motion itself, I know that the intent is to table to request more information. Do we need to put some kind of statement together of what information is requested at this time that we know of? Or are we just tabling the table?
I know the two things I heard was the issue of snow removal, and if the developer's willing to commit to be the sole removal of snow from Artesian Avenue through Hannah Drive and into their own complex, and if they're willing to do that in perpetuity. So I think that's the first issue I heard. Second issue I heard was a fence around the playground. I think we need to know the exact height, the exact material, the exact color, so that that can all be brought before and approved by the board.
And,
I don't know if there's anything else, but those are the two things I did hear.
and is this going to be a wet or dry retaining?
Well, I'm not arguing with, we submitted a report, so if it says it's wet, I think that's.
It's gonna be wet.
That's correct. They spent a lot of time putting those together, so that was just my misunderstanding.
I think the other thing I heard from the commitment would be, from a development point of view, the desire that the townhomes be completed 100% first before any construction is done on any Habitat for Humanity homes. So that was the other thing I heard.
Being a lifeguard, my 2 cents is having a playground next to a retaining pond is like a recipe for disaster. Because
We have a motion on the floor, don't we?
Yes. Mr. Burkhardt seconded the motion. All those in favor say aye. So this, and Steve Bodie abstained. This is going to be tabled, and I think what we'd like to do is to move things along. We'll get a list to Mr. Coffey, to either to you or to Mr. Strader, so that way you can have that to address that. Is that work, Mr. Coffey?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, still on old business, docket number PC 25024 is the sign approval in the historic downtown district for Bennett Realty, which really is also the front of the building. And you are Mr. Bennett?
Correct.
Have you signed in?
I am right now.
This is Justin, isn't it?
Correct.
Justin Bennett.
So I know that
last meeting, we went over some of this, and I just want to address the whole front of the building again, because there were some changes made. I believe you guys should have received a copy of the new rendering. So first, I want to touch on the paint colors, which were addressed the last meeting. Any of that black on the front of the building would be a Sherwin-Williams paint. It's called tricorn black. And the white is called alabaster. I believe that fits in just fine with the historic district. And then secondly, I just want to address the fact of the entire building being painted. I think that was brought up to some extent last time. And looking back into the ordinance, at the top of page 126 of the ordinance, it states that any unpainted brick shall not be painted. The brick that's at the bottom of the building has already been painted at some point, looks like several times. So I don't believe that's an issue. And the top portion of that building is not brick. The top portion of that building is stone or decorative concrete. So that's not covered in the ordinance. The ordinance just says brick. And then as far as the signage, that's the biggest change that we had on here. We're gonna do the signage, if approved, the way that it looks on the new rendering, at the same size as was presented last month. And just to kind of reiterate the fact of that, the Bennett Realty and the Real Estate Services section totals about 65 square feet. And then the logo that would be in the left-hand window is 5 square feet for a total of 70 square feet. And I believe Mr. Strader last month said the building space on the front of that building was a little over 900 square feet, which gives me a little over 90 square feet of sign space. Any questions from anyone? That's all that I have.
Now, this is maybe a little off the subject. I saw they were painting the building next to you
That's
just
true.
today.
That doesn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah, it looked like it, but yes, I would agree with that, but that's not.
Okay.
That's not before us.
Are the Juliet balconies going to be retained like you've shown here?
Yes, we discussed that last month. We wanted to remove them, but we're gonna keep those. They're gonna be removed, refinished, and then put back up. Sure.
You say there's brick at the bottom of the windows, correct?
Yes.
At the bottom?
Yes, that's the only actual brick on the front of that building.
Right.
Yes.
My opinion is, on this, is if it looks exactly like this, it's perfect. And I wouldn't even have a problem with the painting of the brick to be able to match the building.
I agree.
And you're leaving the windows the same, you're using the same windows?
Yes, all the windows on the front will be the same. All other windows are being replaced.
And on the second level, the doors are gonna be there retained?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, just to address Mr. Bennett. He is correct in regards to unpainted brick shall not be painted, but that's one part of our ordinance. If you go back to section 6, exterior design standards, page 124, it talks about in order to maintain and promote the unique characteristic or the unique historic character of downtown Martinsville and to foster economic revitalization, the following design and visual compatibility standards shall apply to the exterior of every building in the district. And under general requirements, it says a building exterior shall not be altered where the defining characteristics of a structure are lost or substantially changed. He's correct, that top part of that building is not brick, but it is a masonry substance. Mr. Strader might be able to be more defining as to what it is, but it is certainly masonry in character. It's historic to that building, and if you paint it, you're going to lose that feature. So I just want to point that out, that in your ordinance, you do have the ability, if the board would choose, to tell Mr. Bennett that you're not going to allow him to paint that masonry material. Again, the whole downtown historic ordinance is designed to preserve the architectural features of the downtown.
I would also suggest, Mr. Coffey, that Section 7, exterior property maintenance, A4, unpainted brick shall not be painted. I would think reasonably that would apply to other masonry items, stone, or other products. Although it does say brick, I would say a reasonable person would apply that to other materials that are similar.
I don't disagree with you, Mr. Bodie. Mr. Strader, do you know what material that's made of?
I've been over at the project with Justin on a couple of occasions, and we've discussed this matter. The upper level, which is the second floor of the face of that building, that square footage on the face of that building is about 940 square feet, to clarify. Mr. Bennett shared it earlier. I believe that it could be a concrete material or a stone effect. Not certain, you know, we're up there 10 and a half, 11 feet. I have no clue, except viewing it from the wall. But again, what's clarified is, and as you look around the square and see the businesses that have either recently applied paint, they've painted over brick that has been painted before. So, but it does state that you do not paint anything that has not been painted.
It states that you can't paint unpainted brick, is what it actually states.
Mr. Gurnall, you're our historical guy.
Thank you. I'm not in construction, but it sure looks to me like a veneer, like a concrete or a stucco material that was stamped to look like limestone. I wish I could find some information to find out when it was put on there. I honestly don't know if you want to, I mean, it's been up there for some time, probably 50-ish years. I don't know, it's rather subjective whether that is considered historically accurate. I mean, the flip side of that is we have a historic picture with a framed awning on the front of the building. We certainly can't go back to that. Like I said, I think it's unfortunate that we've left the ordinance a little vague. I mean, I think of where would we be if a certain bank came in here with a request to paint.
Mr. Bennett, you want it to be painted white as you show in this drawing, correct?
Correct, yes.
What would it mean to you or your feel about the building if you left the top exposed with whatever the surface is now?
I really wouldn't like to leave it exposed. I would like for my office locations to look fairly similar in color. And I would also, and I'm not here for this, but if there's one section in the ordinance that we are stuck on with brick versus concrete and unpainted versus painted, there's several other sections in this ordinance that I don't think are being addressed with the current buildings that are there, that are supposed to be maintained.
You mean other buildings that have been approved or
Not necessarily
doing things?
improved, but the maintenance of said buildings.
I think we gotta look at the current condition of the building. If the top is painted along with the bottom, that's when we're gonna make it look good. Because right now, it does not look great. So, great might be stretching. But I think this would be a huge improvement to the downtown area.
I'm going to agree with Mr. Baston on that. I appreciate the changes you made to your signage as well. I apologize for bringing up the glass percentage. I made an assumption that you were replacing the windows,
No,
but without that, we can't stipulate that.
No, and I appreciate the board going ahead with what you guys did, and I would have done more research on the top part of that building had the ordinance not said brick.
Speaking of the signage, and I mean, it looks great, except, is that two signs?
I don't,
Well, you've got Bennett Building, and then you've got right above the door. So I'm thinking, all of a sudden, does that constitute two signs as far as our sign ordinance goes?
that,
I mean, it says the same thing. He's just got his logo over the door, and then still spells out the Bennett Realty over each glass.
I'm gonna stick with it's a huge improvement the way it looks, on this rendering, so.
And Mr. Coffey, even though we have an ordinance not to paint, that we can approve this as presented.
I think you can, but I would caution you to make some very specific findings as to why you're doing that. Again, because when I look at this ordinance in totality, and particularly section 6 and also section 7, you've got a lot of different paragraphs there that I think apply to this building in regards to historic significance. We don't know how long that building surface has been there with that material. And that may be something that you want to know prior to making a final decision. But, again, another paragraph, because a building changes over time, those changes have been acquired historic significance in their own right, shall be retained and preserved. So there's an argument that you shouldn't paint it. Distinctive feature finishes and construction techniques are examples of craftsmanship that characterize a building shall be preserved. So again, I don't think you have enough information tonight with where we stand to know how long that surface has been what it is. But if you're going to allow the paint, I would make some very specific findings and reasoning as to why. And I don't know if you have that information tonight.
I guess that brings up a question that I would have. If there is some research done on that, how long would it have had to have been the way that it is?
And that's all subjective, and that would all be up for the board, determining on what you find the facts to be.
I would just I would go back to the new rendering that was submitted and ask for approval for the entire rendering.
So we could table this until the next meeting
You
for
can.
further information?
You can.
No?
You can, yes.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to propose a motion, and then we can discuss that or vote on it if you'd like.
I'm sorry, Steve, did you say you were going to make?
Yeah, you're waiting for me?
Well, you know, my thing here, Justin, is that, we probably need more information on that upper. You know, that's probably the direction this is going. And I hate to do that to you because I know you want to get going on the front of that building so you can get it done. But it just sounds by conversation, that's the direction we're going.
If we go that direction, can I ask that just the top portion of that building be tabled? In case we get to that point, so that signage can be ordered and everything else can continue to move along. If it goes that route.
As a point of order, I'd like to make a motion, if I may.
Sure.
I move that docket 25024, Bennett Realty, the exterior appearance of the building be approved as submitted, including painting the top half of the building to repair and upgrade the appearance of this structure, making an exception, it is not brick, and the appearance, we believe, would be improved. End of motion.
I will second that.
So we have a motion on the floor from Mr. Bodie and a second from Mr. Gurnall.
Would you repeat the motion, please?
Docket 25024 for Bennett Realty, that we approve the request to paint the exterior of the building and the signage as submitted. This motion includes painting the top half of the structure to improve the overall look of this building.
You get that?
Hope so.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Mr. Burkhart is opposed. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, new business. Docket number PC 25025. Vacate replat address 220 Ferguson Drive. In Sherman Estates, second section, lots 119, second section, and lot 120. State your name, did you sign in?
Kyle Jewett, and I signed in, yes.
Mr. Strader, you have all the information on this? Okay. Did you get his name?
Yes,
All right,
thank you.
you're up.
All right, this is a replating of two lots that I currently own to add on a master suite addition and an office to make it go from a 3-bedroom home to a 4-bedroom home. It's approximately 30 foot by 30 foot, and we will not achieve setback in order to keep that second lot an actual lot to sell or whatever. So we're asking to combine those.
And your plan is to build an addition on your home?
Yes.
So that it would encroach on what is now the second lot that you own?
Correct.
Meaning that you wouldn't be able to, under current conditions, to build a house,
correct.
a second house on the second lot?
And you own both lots?
Yes.
Mr. Dorn, all this is something that we see happening within Sherman Estates.
The most common request we can get.
Yes.
So I would just ask if there's anybody to speak for or against.
Yes, is there anybody that would like to speak for or against on this?
I would make a motion that we,
Mr. Chairman, it doesn't look like we have in our file the certification from the post office in regards to the mailing of the landowners. Sir, did you provide the actual certification from the postal service that the mail was, or that the notice was placed in the mail? Did you get that from the postal service and provide it to our office?
Chairman? The verification that this has been quite a process ago. I do not have these in front of me, that they should be down in the office. Mr. Dunbar here presented that to the office.
So you believe we do have from the postal service the actual certificate of mailing, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right.
Okay, so we can proceed.
thank you. I will make a motion that we approve docket number PC 25026 as presented.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make one correction? That was 250-25. Rick, your name.
I'm sorry.
But
Yes.
we mentioned the wrong docket number. It's 25025.
I got that.
Thank you.
I got it.
Okay, next up is docket number PC 2526. Rezoning from business 2 to R2 and R2 to R3. Address is 1209 South Main Street, 1269 South Main Street, 1190 South Maryland Street. Owner is Schwab Family Associates, Schwab Food Liner, William and Helen Schwab Foundation. I would like to make this announcement for all those that are in the room that are probably here for this. Whenever it comes time, after this gentleman has presented his side, and you get up to speak, you will have 2 minutes. I will put you on a timer. We have too many people here, and I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that.
Bigger poster board, I don't know if that helps for everyone to see, I can set them up.
Okay?
Everyone got everything.
Would you please state your name?
I'm sorry, Mike Costin with Rooted Oaks Construction.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Gossett.
Gossett.
I don't know where we best set them up. Whatever works.
You know, right here in front of the
You know, we as the plan commission have good handouts with that information. If you want to turn that around so that you can show the people in the audience, that would be fine with me.
Yeah, I'll put it right here. Yeah, we have, you guys have copies pretty much of all of this stuff, yes.
Maybe so that the audience members can see it.
I'm sorry, sir, but what was your first name? Mike.
Thank you.
All of you, if you know, would like to stand and maybe stand off to the side, view that, you're more than welcome.
So our application is simply rezoning the property. There are 5 lots that we kind of got designated for this project. The parcel numbers are all listed. They're pretty elaborate there, but you guys should have copies of all the 5 parcel numbers. I believe 3 of the parcel numbers are zoned commercial right now. 2 of them are zoned, I think it's R2, which is medium density.
Your submission says they're designated R1, single family.
Single family, and that could be. I don't know exactly what the city has zoned at, but I know that you're allowed to put doubles on those properties. So that's where the medium density came from. But with the idea to switch them to multifamily townhouse apartments, that you guys should all have pictures, the same pictures that I had posted up here in front. All of the townhouses will have parking around the back, in the bottom, the ground floor. And then the second floor of the apartment is the living space, so living room, dining room, kitchen. And then the top floor is either the 2 bedrooms or the 3 bedrooms. We intentionally, because it's a 3-story project, we intentionally made the roof flat on these as to not have them any taller than they absolutely had to be. That's the idea behind the flat roofs on them. So all these buildings, as you see them in the pictures that you have now, these buildings are about 30 or 31 feet, depending on where you're standing on the grade, but 30 foot above the slab for the height, which is equivalent to about a 2-story house with an 8-12 pitch roof on top of it.
Are these photographs renderings, or are these a project you're building elsewhere?
No, this is a project, we're not building this project, it's a similar project that it's what we're proposing. That we'll go back through the application process for permitting and all of that. But the footprint of this is similar to the footprint that you see drawn on our plot plan. And those are 20 by 30 is the footprint per apartment. 20 foot wide, 30 foot deep.
So by these illustrations, these are properties that you're in the process of building or have built?
No, sir, this is not our project.
Okay.
This is someone else's project, but this is just similar, as close as we could get to what we wanted to do here.
Have you done any projects like this in the past?
Yes, sir. So I have about 38 years of construction experience. I've built multiple. This is the first time that we're actually doing it for ourselves. The owner of the company, Dan Janik, is sitting back here. He's got 38 years as well. Between us, I don't know, somewhere in the $2 billion worth of real estate developed. Big commercial work, all the way down to residential houses and everywhere in between. This is our first project, doing it by ourselves, doing it for ourselves.
And your suggestion was that the roof line is going to be designed So it would be somewhat equivalent to the height of an older two-story home?
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yep. If you look in the Arbor Home subdivision, you'll see some of them, there are 3 stories over there. On the front, the appearance is that it's 2 stories. Like you only see a 2nd-story window, but then the roof goes up. But if you look on the back of the house, it's actually a 3-story building. And those houses over there are in the 36 to 38 feet tall. So they're, you know, a good bit taller than these buildings here.
And you expect these to be what height again?
Right at 30 feet, 30 to 31 feet.
So in this plan here,
Yes, sir.
you're proposing 17 units that on the south side of South Street and 13 units on the north side of South Street. Is that
That's correct. Yep. Yes, sir.
And each one of these units, so as I did the math on the lot sizes you're showing to me, in our ordinance, it says that you have to have 3,000 square feet per unit. And the way I calculated, you've only got 2,400 on one of them and 2,100 on the other. You don't have enough room to build that many units.
Do you mind if I jump in and ask a question? Because I was a little confused on this request, and I might have misread this. I thought in the public notice that I read in the correspondence, it was being rezoned to a PUD. But I see on the paperwork that we got with our agenda, we were going to R3 high density. I think that would make a difference with what we're doing here tonight.
Mr. Schrader, do you have a copy of the?
I'm looking through this as well. I'm not seeing anything, any verification that they applied for a PUD.
And I apologize, I might have misread that. It was several weeks ago in the paper.
It's the high density R3 is what we're seeking.
Okay, okay. So as long, so if we're rezoning to R3, then any development standards in our ordinance we would expect that those to be followed, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of my questions of many, when I look at that map right there, we look at this.
Yes, sir.
So the parking lot already chops into the last house on the,
I'm sorry.
it goes right through the middle, or about a quarter of a section left. There's about a quarter of that house out into that parking lot.
I don't believe those red lines are going to be true and accurate off the map. That came off your guys' city map.
Okay.
It appeared to be a little bit offset of what actual is on the street.
Okay, so the next one is the size of the second parking lot that was the old IGA is this right here. And you're telling me 4 units fit in that?
This particular building that you're pointing out, I believe, is this what you're at?
Yeah.
That's 80 feet wide, yes, sir.
That's what?
80 feet. That building's 80 feet wide. It's 20 feet wide per unit there.
So there's two, I'm sorry, right?
I'm sorry?
Is there 2 units there or 4?
There's 4 units there.
4 units.
Isn't that lot 66 by 132?
Yes, sir.
Just by not going out there and measuring it myself, and you look at it from what we've all seen living here all our life, I'll start here, there's no way you can put 4 units in that thing and make it look, I'll start there. Now, the second question is, on the corner of Maryland and Main is a home, correct?
Maryland South Street.
Maryland South Street, sorry.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
correct. Okay, and who owns that lot right there?
The Schwab family.
The Swap family. So the house there is rented, is that correct?
Rented at this point, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, Main Street to Maryland, north of South Street. So part of the parking, all the parking lot, and
Yes.
then the residence beside it. So you're taking a
Block to
whole.
block, yes, sir.
Yes.
Yep,
And then from South Street down Main Street, parking lot in front of the former grocery store,
Yes, sir.
the grocery store building, and the house behind that.
that's correct, yes, sir.
Okay.
I believe that used to be their office for swaps.
I've had his office there, yeah, long ago. Mhm. Yeah, the property at that house, literally, there isn't any offset there. It is, the house is right on the property line, and the building is right on the property line. It's really tight right there.
So that is a rental also.
Yes, sir, yeah. Of course, all the rentals are subject to the approval, subject to permitting, financing. This is just kind of the first step of starting the ball down the road.
Now, the way I read the paperwork, this is just a preliminary, to know whether or not this is approved before you can purchase the property.
That's correct, yes, sir.
Because the Schwab, different organizations still own the property.
That's correct. There are 3 different organizations between, I think it's their family foundation owns the parking lot that's on the corner, just the asphalt lot on the north side of South Street and on the east side of Main Street. And then the Schwab, I think it's the foundation owns the actual old grocery store, the kind of dilapidated building there. And then the Schwab family partnership owns the 2 rental properties.
Well, I realize this is preliminary, but there's so much wrong with this drawing that, I mean, the setbacks, is there enough parking? And then, like I say, you don't have enough room to put that many units on those particular lots. I personally would rather see something a little closer to what should fit on there than what you've drawn here.
Mr. Swan, have you had a chance to look at this?
I'm not, this is the first time I've seen it, however, Dale, I just want to ask a question for clarification. I think we've been through this before, but with this being a zoning request, it's not a PUD, it's a zoning request, so therefore, we're only making a recommendation to council, favorable, not favorable, or no recommendation at all. Isn't that correct? So as far as the details of the site plan and everything else, that will still have to go through review with a normal plan submission once it's actually rezoned and then submitted. So even though we see this picture as it stands today, I think what if it was rezoned and council chose to move forward with the rezoning, that it would have to come to the city building and engineering department for review, correct?
Yeah, so tonight, what you have before you is a request to rezone property. Now, I guess my confusion lies with exactly how all of these are currently zoned. Because in the application with the attachments, we've got, it appears to be 3 different parcels that are currently zoned B2. All right? And then it appears we have 2 parcels that are zoned residential, but I'm confused because the application says it's currently zoned R1. And they're asking for a change from R1 to R3. But on our agenda tonight, we have a rezone from B2 and R2 to R3. So I guess my question, number 1, would be, what was the notice that was given to adjoining landowners? What did it say? What did the newspaper notice say? And more importantly, Mr. Strader, what do our records show that these residential lots are currently zoned? So that's number 1. Number 2, Mr. Swan's correct. The board would be making a recommendation to the city council on what the board believes is the highest and best use for these parcels. And if you believe the highest and best use would be for R3, then you'd make a recommendation to rezone. If you believe it's not R3 and it ought to stay B2 or whatever be R1 or R2, then you would make a recommendation unfavorably for the rezoning request. I do agree that if this has to move forward or does move forward, I think that the applicant's going to be before the BZA for a lot of variances based on what I'm seeing with these plans, because they're not going to meet setback requirements, they're not going to meet possible square footage requirements for lots to build on and all of that, but that is on down the road, and that's something not before this board to be deciding. But my initial question is, do we have a notice issue here? And if we do, we need to get that addressed before we move further.
How do we determine that now?
Yeah, I don't know, Mr. Strader, do you have, or applicant, do you have before you the notice that was published in the newspaper and a copy of the notice that was given to the adjoining landowners?
I do, sir.
Okay, if you could bring that to me, please. All right. Okay. This is what you sent to the, okay, all right.
Will we see a copy of what he sent the landowners?
You can, ma'am, in just a minute after I review it. Oh, okay, yep, absolutely, thank you.
So your company to buy this is an all or nothing deal? Is it an all or nothing deal? It has to be all of it, or we don't
No,
want to do
no,
it?
it doesn't, no. I mean, the project, this is just a preliminary idea.
Okay,
For zoning.
gotcha.
We come back, we get the zoning approved, we can come back to the city with more detailed plans, site plans. All the setbacks will be properly, if the numbers are cut back or the amount of units are cut back because of the setbacks, then that would apply, and it would be the case when we come back for permitting.
I don't, and this is just an opinion here, but obviously, I don't disagree there needs to be something done with the old IGA building. Don't disagree with that at all. I don't disagree that you can use the parking lot for something, the second parking lot for something. But to take out all the other homes, you're taking out 2 homes, correct?
2 homes, yes, sir.
Is that,
Mr. Coffey?
why? I mean, would be my question. Why?
The one, I mean, all right, so I'll give you part of the mindset behind it. So it
Okay.
initially started with the IGA building. We talked to the Schwab family, the property's up for sale, it's sitting there dilapidated. I don't know if you guys have drove by it. I've got a picture of it right there if you want to see it, but
Yep.
it's not in very good shape.
I know that.
And that's where it started. And that building is built right on top of the property line, along with the house to the south on, which is, it's actually
Main Street.
It's actually on this lot right here.
Okay.
But that house is built so close to the edge of the property. The idea was, because the Schwabs own that house as well, that's where the idea started. And then when we talked about that house, Mr. Schwab told me, he's like, well, we own the lot across the street and these other houses along the side. And when we looked across the street at the empty parking lot that's on the north side of South Street there, the idea was, the pictures that I saw on Google Maps had a chain link fence, and there was, I don't know, some kind of construction debris or something had been stored in there. So
Right, right.
Lord only knows what's been on that lot for the years, but I know that it's.
What's been on that lot, 'cause I don't know.
Ma'am.
Go ahead, sir.
So the idea is to repurpose that lot. It's zoned commercial at this point right now. So I mean, realistically, someone could come in there and build something commercial on that lot
Correct.
and not have to go through a rezoning process.
You are correct.
Our idea was, if we could create more of a project, even though it's across the street, all of this would be built all at the same time. The idea being that lot's too small in and of itself to really make good use out of it. And that's where the idea for the second house comes in. Now, all of this is contingent, of course, upon us buying those lots. So,
Have you approached the Swabs about this?
yes, sir, yeah. We're here representing.
And they're all, the family trust is approved, is all in favor?
Well, they're in favor if it's subject to multiple things. Subject to zoning,
Two.
subject to, yes,
Right.
yes, sir, yeah.
Like I said, I have a hard time with, I have any problem with working with the old IGA building in the parking lot on the other side of the street. But to take out other things, to me, is just not, that's just really just not the best idea. I don't see where we're gaining by taking these houses out.
Mr. Baston, could you hold that thought?
Sure.
Mr. Coffey?
Yeah, so, Mr. Knoll, I believe you were correct. This public notice that appeared in the newspaper is inaccurate because it describes the request tonight for a zoning map change for a planned unit multifamily development. So the public notice in the newspaper is inaccurate. So we're not going to be able to take any sort of a vote tonight on this matter. Now, what we possibly could do, and this will be up to the board, you have some folks here tonight. You could go ahead and have these folks speak if you like, since they're already showed up and they're here. You could table it and reserve all of the discussion for the next meeting, but the applicant is going to have to republish in the paper notice of the next hearing because the publication is inaccurate as to what the request is. Now, I'm going to take a few minutes to go downstairs and look at our zoning map so I can determine exactly what the city says these two residential lots are currently zoned, so that we've got that before everybody. And then I think there was
right there, sir. The last page on that, the map is attached there.
Yeah, but if you've looked at that in my old eyes, I can't see what that
No
says,
worries.
so I'm gonna have to go look at a bigger map. There was a lady in the audience that asked to see what I was looking at in regards to the public, or to the notice that was sent to the landowners. Who was that wanted us to look at this?
I did.
Okay, if you want to come up, you can stand right here and look at that. That's what's been,
Come on up.
okay, well, this is what's represented to me, was sent to the adjoining landowners.
That's not the same as what we got.
We did not get anything like this. None of us.
Okay, I'm gonna let you look at it, okay? Anybody else want to come up and look at it?
Yes, what you got? What did you see?
Yeah, I apologize. I gave them the wrong one. I gave them the wrong document. They all have copies.
All right. Order. Guys, let's just review right now the document, okay, and reserve comment for later, please.
You can look at that, but we've already, Mr. Coffey's already said, we can't move any further with this tonight, so you're welcome to look at that. We're not going to do,
Okay, all right, let's do ask
anything else.
questions.
But I would like, while Mr. Coffey goes downstairs, to go ahead and hear from the,
If everyone's fair with doing that, we can go ahead and have that comment tonight if that's what you want to
Are
do.
the commissioners willing to go ahead and hear from the residents while they're here?
My question would be, if the information in the notice is not correct to public notice, we have to have this hearing again, correct?
Yes.
That's correct.
Well, I think we should hear from any demonstrators when we have that hearing, not now.
Wouldn't that help us come to a decision, though? I mean,
What decision can we make if we don't have a proper notice? This hearing shouldn't be happening.
Thank you.
What do you think?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
However,
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't want him to go down and look. I actually gave you the wrong piece of paper. They have copies. This is actually the mailing right here. It's not that piece of paper that I gave you. I apologize. But the certified mail is, of course, what it is. That's the letter that was mailed to everyone right there. So that's probably what you would need reference to.
Mr. Bassett?
but we still, again, my opinion, we still need to hear, obviously, there's some concerns.
Yes.
So they can come back and state those concerns again, but they're here. I think we need to hear it because we need to see, I mean, you gotta take into account the residents.
Yes. And maybe we should have a little more discussion, if we're going to continue this hearing, about the highest, best use for this property, because that's what we're supposed to be talking about. The current old IGA property, 3 lots, including what is a gravel lot across the street, all zoned commercial. We're using the word houses, but there are many. There are 2. One of them is adjacent to the back of the grocery store.
Correct.
that is on the property line. And then there's one home that is on Maryland and South that is a house, and it's currently a rental property. So what is the highest and best use for this? Should it be left like it is? Should it be a new grocery store? Should it be an apartment community? Right? Isn't that the question?
Right, but I think, since we have the constituents here right now, I think we should hear what they have to say.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I'm asking all of us to please have comment about what you think the highest, best use for this, for the commercial property as well as the 2 residential lots. Any thoughts?
I'd like to hear from the constituents first before I make any comment.
You already have my opinion is on the commercial parts, the 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Lots. But when you start taking out the one in Maryland and South, the one in Maine, to me, we shouldn't be talking about those because the 4 lots is what we have to change, correct?
No, there's a request that all of these lots shown.
I understand,
zoned
but 4 lots are for business.
Well,
Is that correct?
Mr. Coffey
No.
is back. Let's hear what Mr. Coffey has to say that he.
About the current zoning of these lots. There are 4.
So
5.
the commercial lots are zone B2. The residential are currently zone R2. The notice that went out to adjoining landowners used the same terminology as the public notice in the newspaper, which is incorrect. So the applicant is going to have to send out new notice to all adjoining landowners with the correct zoning request change for the various parcels. R2 to R3 and B2 to R3. And it's not correct to use the terminology of a planned multifamily development, because that's not what the zoning ordinance says. Our zoning ordinance is R3. And so that's the classification that's being asked to change zoning to. So all adjoining landowners will have to receive new notice. The newspaper will have to receive new notice. And our ordinance says it has to, your submission to the city will have to be amended to reflect the proper zoning from from R2 to R3, because currently what we have says R1, okay? So you got some work to do, and you're gonna have to get it done to meet the requirements for the next meeting, or we won't be able to have it in October. We'll have to have it in November. So again, you've got to have everything to us 15 days ahead of time, right, Mr. Strader?
That is correct.
And the October meeting is the 4th Tuesday of October.
October 28th.
Okay. So you may have enough time to do it if you get on it, but it has to hit the paper and obviously to the adjoining landowners 15 days prior to the meeting. Okay. So that's where we stand in regards to notification.
So what the adjoining landowners are going to get are going to be completely different than what they've got this round.
It would be, because what they have is a rezone request to a multifamily planned development, which that's not what the zoning is.
So I'm going to ask the commission, do we want to, since this is a whole new game, if they get everything in place and back mailed out to the homeowners and through the building office, it would have to come back before us October 20th.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't think we can table it because that's not proper in regards to the improper notification. So I think it's up to the applicant to get it in. If he gets it in time, then we're gonna hear it in October. If he doesn't, then it'll have to be November. Okay,
So there'll be no action on this.
that's correct.
With the folks here now, commission, do you want to give them 2 minutes each to speak? Or do you want to have them come back? Would you do a roll call vote, please? I just want to hear.
We need one of those if that's a question. Shall we allow them to speak tonight?
Correct.
I think that, I guess, with that being said, it will be put on record because it's not technically a public hearing because we don't have anything presented.
Yeah, I think in light of what I have found, I really think it's proper that we don't entertain any public comment tonight because, again, the notification was improper. So we really have nothing before, and the application has a defect in it as well. So I think we really shouldn't do any public comment this evening, unfortunately, for these folks. And I think we're gonna have to wait until new notification is done and get it back on the agenda as an agenda item.
Well, I hate that, but rules are rules. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. You've heard our legal counsel speak. There's nothing that we can have any conversation on tonight. We will have to come back when they have everything to us, either October the 28th, or if it's past that, it'll have to be November.
Could I make one more comment?
Sure, Mrs. McGill.
Okay, thank you. I think there's a big conflict here with Mr. Gossett. He is married to a high official in our city, and I think that's a big deal.
I wasn't aware of that, and I don't see how it affects this thing.
You don't think it
at all.
makes any difference how he got this thing, this job? Okay.
Wouldn't have known it if you wouldn't have mentioned it, and it doesn't mean nothing to me.
Okay. That's fine.
Ma'am, you raised your
It
hand in
means
the
something
back.
to me in the community.
Yes, I would like to have comments just on the proposed buildings.
We can't do that tonight, ma'am. We can't have any public comment tonight. You'll have to come back, and I'm sorry.
Can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
Whenever you guys table this, or whenever it comes up in the next meeting, if this is going to be heard, is it going to be heard first?
Yes.
Depends on the order that it comes in. It will not be old business, it'll be under new business, and it'll be the order it comes in as far as the other filings.
It's still be new business?
It'll still be new business, because what we have tonight, we can't make any action on.
Oh, I'm all right with that. I'll store it up till the next time. Thank you.
And I apologize.
It's all right. I'm gonna wait.
Sir, are you aware of what you need to do? Okay.
The confusion is all, yeah.
Okay, next up, docket number PC 25027, remodel approval in the historic downtown district, address 183 North Jefferson Street. Folks, you can have your conversation now, we're still having a meeting.
Oh, the meeting's not over?
Owner is the city of Martinsville.
Oh, they got stuff to do.
Did you sign in, sir?
Yes, I did.
It's my house.
Good evening. It's been a long evening. I'll try to make this as short as possible. This is a facility that's going to be built behind the venue, between the venue and art sanctuary. Thank you. I hadn't seen your moment there.
This is going to be a facility for restrooms for the performers and also for storage of items that have been put into the dressing rooms of the venue that should have never been there. They should have been stored properly, and we've just cluttered those dressing rooms up. So sorry.
And Joe can.
Members of the public allowed to talk in this room.
Go ahead, why don't you guys go ahead and take it outside, please? Thank you.
Let me go over again.
Please.
Okay, this is going to be a facility behind the venue stage and the art sanctuary in the alley. That's going to be restrooms for the performers and a storage area. The dressing rooms that are on each wing of the venue have been cluttered up with items that should have been stored in a proper storage area. Some sound equipment, some of the ballards and things of that nature. So this is just going to be something to make it a little bit easier for our entertainers to come in.
Any questions for Mr. Costin?
Can you just real briefly tell us where this is? I haven't gone by to look, my fault.
If you are in,
I mean, I know where the venue is.
yeah, if you're looking at east, it'll be on the south end.
Connected to the back of the stage? Is it connected?
It'll be self-standing.
North-south alley, north of the east-west alley.
Yeah. So it's blocked, it would block the alley, but we already have bollards stopping it.
Right, and there's a fence already up there.
Standalone structure.
So it's all block, no
Yes.
brick, or is it block and brick?
It's called a rough face block. That will be, it will be smooth block in the ground and rough face from there up. The safest spot it was placed on the water department building on Mulberry.
And this will block the alley or will not block the alley?
Yes, it was locked in. The alley is already.
The alley's already blocked.
Oh, it's already blocked?
It's fenced.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
The alley's already been vacated.
Okay.
I'm asking, the alley's already been vacated?
Right.
I make a motion that we approve PC 25027.
I would second that motion, Steve.
Can I have a comment?
Yes, sir.
This is crazy to me, but do we really need to approve this, or is it really?
It is technically in your historic downtown district, so it is a new construction within that district. So yes, that's why it's before you this evening for approval.
All right, just checking.
Mr. Burkhardt, I believe, in short words, is we're treating this like it's someone else and not the city.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second on the floor. All those,
We would normally expect more from a member of the public than this. But,
Well, he's on the train right now, who knows where.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Well, if you had fun with that one, this next one you're really going to love. I have to fall on the sword on this one. This is completely on me. I completely jumped the gun, got excited. Starting probably 4 years ago, when Debbie was watering the flowers out here, and she was in her flip-flops and doing this with the bird droppings all over the place. And I wanted to put soften around the eaves, and I was told I couldn't do it. You know, it's a historic building, you can't take it away. So I let it go about it, and we didn't do anything. Well, we had discussion on what we were going to do at City Hall. That's kind of been tabled at this point, but some things came that need to be repaired. The paint was peeling around the garage door bays. It was looking bad. We had birds roosting all over the place. And, excuse me, we did have a gentleman from Indiana Landmarks come down when the council, and we were looking at what we were going to do with City Hall. And he was walking around and he was admiring how great shape the building was. But I asked him, I said, what about these birds? You know, I can't come out here and shoot them. They love the little, I don't know, nails or sprockets or whatever you put up there for them to roost and build their houses in. I said, can we put software on that? And he said, yes, you can. In this situation with the bird droppings and everything, that is a health hazard. It is a public building, so you can do that. So I jumped the gun, knowing the festival, the parade was going to be coming down this way. I want to get things painted. We had 2 bids to get everything done. Everything was going on, and Mr. Coffey came to my office and said, sit down in this calm manner that he has, and he said, you changing the color? Yeah. He just sat there and looked at me, and then I realized I'd made a huge mistake. Because here we had Mr. Finneman that wanted to paint some buildings, and we didn't let him until he came before you. But I said, but Dale, I'm not painting the building, it's just the trim. But still, I should have come before you. Completely my fault, and I beg for forgiveness. And I'll entertain any questions.
So has all of this work been done?
The only other thing we've got to do, there was a garage door on the back that had been hit several years ago that's damaged. We're replacing that door, and then we'll be putting an American flag silk screen on that. But everything else is done.
So you painted the garage doors.
Painted the eaves, but softened up, painted around the windows, refinished the front doors, stripped those and restained them and put varnish on those.
Was there a little bit of roofing repair or something I thought I saw?
The roofing was done a couple years ago when the tornado came through. We did paint the whistle, did paint that.
I was a little hesitant when you mentioned enclosing the eaves, because I was always a fan of that craftsman prairie style look of the exposed rafters, but I came by here to take a picture, and I have a picture of what had been done, boxed in, next to some of the old, and I was shocked at how dingy the old looked. And I will say, I was hesitant at first, but I think it's an improvement, and probably a much needed one.
Thank you. I know my wife appreciates it. The only thing that we're going to do that's left to be done, the awning in the front and the awning in the back are both in very need of repair. So we're going to be contacting the awning company to fix those. The one in the, we'll duplicate the one in the front. Don't know if that's historic or not, but that's what's always been there as far as I can remember. But the one in the back is still kind of half rounded. There's an area in between the brick and the awning that the birds get in and roost. And it needs to extend out off of the steps. It doesn't make sense to have something on that top step. If somebody pulls in the back, they need to be able to get out on a rainy day, come in and dry. So those 2 things we need to get accomplished yet.
So the back awning is going to be a different design.
I'm thinking it'll probably, instead of being oval like it is, creating a crevice, we're going to come off of the brick, which is the elevator, slant down.
Is there any other questions for Mayor Costin?
I make a motion that we approve docket number PC 25028.
I'll second that.
Caleb Forrester seconds the motion that Ann Miller made for docket PC 25028. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
This has been a record, I guess. Record of time.
I got a question. I got another point, and I guess I'm going to yell at Bob. Last
Strader.
meeting, Mr. Strader,
Yes, sir.
last meeting I asked if we could get the people to print their name below where they signed.
Yes, sir.
Can we do that, please? Or change the
Are you referring to the application, is that right?
Yes, please.
Any application.
Yeah,
We
any
have several of
application.
them.
This time, I've had trouble with the mayor's signature a little bit, but I have to know who he was.
What?
So, yeah,
Ready to do that?
please.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Rick Darnall seconds the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Our next regular session meeting will be Tuesday, October the 28th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
100 license with a wet noodle.